here going into the second half. So we'll have to see how they do. And as for E-Frag, of course, them looking good. The big thing is going to be keeping that going here on the second map, which is going to be a little bit harder for these guys to work against too, just obviously again because of the bigger team dynamic that tends to play into this one. The more experience you have here, the better. Navi have had some fairly good experience here in the past, but at least in terms of the knife rounds, still won't be having any success tonight. I think E-Frag is 4 for 4 on their knife rounds this evening. I don't think they've lost a single one, either versus Titan or versus Navi. So they're like the side choice kings tonight, and they're gonna get to start off once again over here on the CT side. We'll see how well that performs against them. And as for Navi, well, again, they made some fairly good progress on that T side. It was definitely the CT side where things started to fall off, so maybe that can be replicated here. A little bit more of a CT-sided map, so, maybe not, but we'll wait and see. As again, the big thing for Navi on that CT side was just a little bit of over-aggression here and there, ends up really biting him in the butt. That ended up fighting back at them, and a lot of E-Frag to take a really good control of things on that T side and eventually take the map back over on Dust 2. So here we go from Navi, starting things off. A lot of players heading up over here towards the playground area, but Victor not being punished at all over here. He's going to pick up a first frag. Decking down Edward, looking for a second one here too, but flamie thankfully is going to find the trade to that. He does spot the bomb being played back over here by Playground, but because this is found so far back, they're not really going to be able to react to this so proactively. They will move NKL up to support the A site in the event it does go there. That'll leave things into a 2-2 defense split. Fairly normal as far as when you lose one player, just really on any map is concerned. But this is also going to have Seized again, possibly with an easier time to find his way in through Monster. I say that, but with the current crossfire setup that's placed here by both Bubble and Dreamer, not necessarily going to be the case. And meanwhile, for the rest of Navi, working a couple players down in a connector, mainly just Guardian for the time being, and a couple more sitting back over here by the bathrooms. That's going to be flamie picking up an additional kill on the spyleadeR as he tried to push himself out towards long A, but that only ends up causing his own death. And now it's just NKL who has to try and single-handedly hold on to the A site. Really can't get any other support because they need to make sure they hold on to that setup here. The big problem for this setup that's placed down under the B site is that if it does push into construction, Bubble's going to have to turn all the way around to this to react to it. And if it all comes in as just this one big clump of players, that may not be possible. So they've got to be very careful about how they move this. And obviously, as you can see here too, they've moved their players back down over here towards B to hold it, and oof, Bubble trying to peek out there towards Monster, but is decked to the ground by C's. That takes him down. And already very good control maintained. They don't actually ever punish Dreamer, so he's allowed to pick up one kill. NKL finding a second one here too, but Zeus is going to pressure him and caught mid-reload. Not the best situation for NKL. Zeus is going to be able to take him down, and now we'll see Navi picking up their first point here on the second map, starting themselves off strong on the T side once again, and immediately going for those investments onto rifles and the SMGs, whereas E-Frag, at least from the buy that we see from Dreamer, possibly taking a lighter path here in the second round. For most players, this is true. The exception is going to be Dreamer, who actually ends up dropping a scout for his teammate spyleadeR. Not going to buy up anything else behind that for the time being. Actually, it looks like that's from the icon. It looks like that's his own scout, but no, it's not. The icon is just bugged. So he did get dropped by Victor, so he's going to have this to work with. And taking a pot shot at the beginning, it works out because he's going to get some good damage on the Guardian, bringing him down to 31 HP. Not going to be able to kill him just as of yet, but at the very least, again, putting some impact that could be useful later on if they get in any close encounters with these pistols, or even longer duels too. It's going to put him very low and very fragile, and make him a very easy target to finish off when we actually get into a big firefight. So Victor, again, holding a close corner too, watching out for a push to come over towards his direction, and Flash is not necessarily going to connect him fully, so everyone's going to round the corner, but good spray control coming out there from Victor despite being tagged. He's going to get able to take down one of these guys. flamie again finding a response by eliminating Victor. And these trades are only going to go by the way of Navi, as obviously they have the bigger guns, and by preventing free kills by coming out onto the members of Navi, what they are going to do is, again, they're going to prevent any gun pickups from being had. So the members of E-Frag, for the most part, just stay stable on these downgraded pistols, not really going to be able to find anything else, and also slowly losing amounts of map control here too. They still absolutely have no clue as to where this play is being had, so they're not going to take a guess at it. And thankfully it's correct after they see the pressure coming into the B side. They're going to assume it's here, and they're correct in doing so. But now the big problem is, well, how do they get outside of CT main here? And right now it's seeming like a very hard thing to do. We did see one picked up there by Bubble as he found a nice deagle shot in order to finish off Guardian. So they at the very least accomplished this by picking up 2 kills. But ultimately, those final 3 players from E-Frag are just stuck in that one little corner. And they have a crossfire setup thrown at them by the members of Navi. So there's just nowhere to go in that current area. And E-Frag are just cornered. It's good enough that they get some damage, but when you're working against the T side, you need to do a little bit more to really make it impactful. As 2 to 3 kills is not really going to hurt or grow the economy on either side. They stun it, what, they're not really going to hurt it by an area unless they pick up 4 or more. So now they're going to push out and actually getting really aggressive this time. NKL will find a first kill, trying to push forward here. We do see a rifle being picked up by Dreamer, and Bubble able to wrap back out, picking up another one on the Zeus. Guardian again is available for a trade. Now Zeus comes back, or Seized, apologies, comes back in over there through the upper tunnels, able to drop down Dreamer and finishing him off. Now leaving things still very much in the control of E-Frag, and they've taken care of that player with a rifle too, but spyleadeR, another flank being brought up by him, looking for Seize, but he didn't realize that Guardian was just sitting over to his left. That doesn't matter though, as he's going to pick up a kill on a Seize, but still, no sight on a Guardian. Still doesn't realize that he's sitting in playground right now. He's going to play it back, but there's Bubble. Where the hell did he catch him from? Oh, he's sitting way back over here towards Long. He's going to be able to take him out as he pushes out towards Long A, and now it's just Edward. They've got bomb control. Edward's got to take this duel. So he's going to move himself back in over here, try to find an angle. Currently, nobody expecting him to come back over here through A long. Like a counter flank, but he's got to be careful with his trigger discipline here. He's also being very loud with this, so I think Bubble already realizes where he's coming in from. Bubble's going to connect the headshot and end it, and E-Frag do pick up the response on basically a full save. Now they're going to get their big investment coming out here. It'll be the same thing for Navi as they do choose to force this one here, as they can get AKs, semi-decent spread of utility. They've got 3 smokes and a molly, so that molly has to make sure that it's used really efficiently here. This is probably going to lean towards a B push with the current utility that they have, but it looks like they're actually taking it over towards long A for the time being, moving through playground to accomplish this. This will be a bit riskier if we do see members of E-Frag getting this info early and trying to sort of board themselves up to defend against it. As like I said before, with only that single molly, they're not really going to have a very easy time forcing members of E-Frag out of these closed off positions. So in terms of trying to make a take, the A sit's going to be a little bit harder than B, but it does sort of make sense here too, because with less rifles, you want to try to get closer battles, and you're going to find those on the A site. You can see here from the side of E-Frag, they haven't really gotten too much intel just as of yet. Still keeping a solid 2 down on the B site while they've moved some more up onto the A site, but also not a whole lot of aggression. Moving its way back out here, as you can see Guardian trying to take those deagle shots. spyleadeR's going to spot these guys, and again, we'll smoke things off by the bathroom. That really is going to cover all that much, so it shouldn't really stop the members of Navi from pushing themselves into this one. What is going to stop them is that double man setup that you can maybe see just to the left there, or by semi. There's 2 players. With Victor and Bubble trying to hold that one off. The peek comes out from spyleadeR. That's gonna drop Guardian. They should know that this play is definitely coming in here, so those rotations, I expect them to move in at any moment. What could be smart is actually they shift this back down right now, because there is a lot of chaos, and you can see here too, E-Frag is guessing whether they want to move back up or keep themselves down into this site. They'll make the decision for now to stay down, but in comes Navi now. They're pushing into it. They're gonna hear this, and now those rotations are prompted into the site. Seize falls back, watching for the flank, but there's nothing coming in this form now. They push in, there's only 10 seconds left. spyleadeR picking up that kill. Bubble literally sitting right in front of somebody from Navi, but not gonna be able to catch him as of yet, and Zeus picking up that kill. Zeus still safe in the corner, but gets rounded around there by Bubble. Dreamer finding another kill, and now it's just on Seize, trying to hold this one off in a 1 versus 3, but cannot accomplish that task. And E-Frag again, with their stronghold, are able to push in, and they execute this round in their favor, tying things up at 2 points now. And as for Navi, again, some good progress is made in terms of getting them onto the site, but because of how low the time is, they have to make a forced decision to plant the bomb before clearing off the site itself. That allows E-Frag to get a lot of info as to where the final couple of players are from Navi. It makes that re-entry there really, really easy. Didn't even really ever have to re-enter the site. Just basically held their ground after they got pushed back initially, and then just fought back after the smoke started to fade away a little bit. But Navi not going to take this loss that lightly, just as of yet. Still seeing another force come out from these players. As we see Edward picking up the rifle, but that's going to be the only one that they have in round number 5 here. Navi again, making that early impact is going to be the big key, and this is something that we haven't been able to see too far from them as of yet, but they'll move in now. And again, there's a solid hold built up. More on the way, too. This is really, really slow from Navi, and this is going to be hurting them as they work their way in. They basically force up the plant. This was the big goal for this round, but as they move in now, they're getting picked off one by one. They're not really covering these angles all that well. MKL free to pick up as many kills as he wants. Gonna find at least one there and get some support as well from his teammates. Has a couple of assists coming into that round, but it's actually spyleadeR that leads the kills for that round, as he's gonna pick up 3. But obviously NKL sort of taking the brunt of the damage, leading the charge that time. He's probably one of the more impactful players that sort of get the flank of the damage in, and obviously allow him to help out with the rest of his teammate there, as spyleadeR's basically going to be there to clean up the scraps as they pick up the lead now away from the members of Navi. But this one little rehash round from Navi is going to be enough to allow them to upgrade to rifles once again. So they'll go right back to the AK. I know Op coming into the picture just as of yet for that T side. So Guardian's not going to get his choice weapon, probably not for some time either, with the way that these rounds are going, as E-Frag is shutting these down quite confidently. We'll have to wait and see is CsGo going for that spray down, actually catching some damage on the NKL on the way in there too, so that is definitely going to keep him planted in a very safe position for quite some time as the smokes now start to roll in. I believe these are CT smokes, just want to double check. It looks like that is the case for the time being. Those have been tossed in now to hold off Navi in case they do decide to push, but they've completely changed up their game plan and are now working for an A take instead. Moving themselves back up here to try and push their way in. We can see they're just going to go right for it, but again, this is not advised very well as Navi just are moving in, and there's already one player, Edward, gets burned alive with some damage coming onto him too. There's that crossfire set up back by Semi. Such a huge amount of damage going on to these players. flamie finding a route in back over there by the APC, but Bubble again with some assistance from Victor, picking up 2 kills. Victor's going to be the last one alive here on the site, and he's shut out by flamie, so it is brought down into an even traded 2 versus 2, but Guardian hit by another nade. He's at 18 HP, and now comes that flank from NKL. He's going to pick up one of the 2 remaining ones. flamie trying to play this out, waiting for the peek from Dreamer, but it's Dreamer that'll peek flamie, shuts him down with the headshot off the M4, and finishes things off to allow E-Frag to once again pick up yet another round for themselves, continue to take that lead a little bit further ahead, and for Navi, it'll be an eco once again, more than likely from these guys, as they're just not sitting on enough cash for it as of yet. They will upgrade some Tech 9s, and for CsGo, he buys armor behind his. The rest of them, though, just stick with the upgraded pistols, and Guardian takes this one lightly. This is going to be the op buy in the next round here, if you can tell by the buys that are going out now, because they save up a little bit more here. It's going to be a really big buy on round number 8, as they absolutely need to try and get themselves back into this if the score ends up going up to 2-5. So Guardian, again, finding a little bit of opening damage here on the bubble. With the rest of, I shouldn't really say the rest of, with some of the players from Navi pushing back out towards that angle. We can see here from Navi that they've got a couple more guys inside of Connector here too, trying to move their way into it. But E-Frag still sticking to this, basically, to be honest, it's the same setup that we've seen a couple times from them now. I'm trying to show it a little bit more clearly, but you can see here, Victor and Bubble again with that semi setup here. Just sitting to it, watching for a push to come from Bathroom, and Navi have been obliging this almost every single round. They pushed into it, and it's had the impact that it's needed to at the very least keep it into an even-traded scenario, at which point, again, E-Frag have had absolutely zero problems as of yet closing out a lot of those clutch 2 versus 2s or those even-traded duels. So E-Frag are just keeping to this because it seems to be working time and time again. And there we go. Now Navi seem to have finally caught on to it. You can tell from their position that's not going to stop them from finding kills, however. It's going to be flamie that actually dispatches both of them after they both traded at least 1 kill. However, now Zeus down very low at 24 HP. He'll almost be caught by spyleadeR. And spyleadeR pushing in, finally puts down flamie, looking for more too. Has to have known that the final 2 players are going to be sitting in this avenue over here. So as the rest come in, they've already got back control of the site. They have to try and find a way from the side of Navi to peek back out and pick up these kills. CsGo has a really good position, dropping one of them and tries to go for the defuse, grabbing the second, and now pulling away from this one. It's going to come into Zeus as he just peeks out. Hadn't even revealed himself as of yet. He's going to roll right out there, finishes off the final player, and now there's another round getting onto the board here for Navi. And that's a really well played there too, considering the circumstances they were working towards. Really rough time getting themselves onto the site and getting that plant down, and still losing players on the way out of that one. They just go for a great setup. CsGo has an absolutely killer angle with his own spray, and it's able to just shut down 2 out of the final 3. And then for the last one left alive, he's just able to hide in that corner, wait for a player to walk past him, and then it's easy pickings. So there you have it now. And Navi are right back into this game, and they were going to have a big buy in this run anyway. Now they've got an even bigger one as Guardian now has that op in his hands, along with the utility he needs to work with it. The first kill being picked up by him. Another player is sitting down there, so they do have to be a little bit cautious of it, but he's handled as well by Zeus, who was supporting Guardian. They're going to pick him off. Bubble with the peek, though, finding a first kill, looking for the second, but can't trace the spray that well to pick up the second frag there. That's going to be Edward finding a response. Now just 2 left alive from E-Frag. They are both in the way of the members of Navi, but Navi actually have to slow this down a little bit because they forgot a very crucial piece of the pie to try and close out this round, which is going to be the bomb. It's still sitting back over there, I think in upper tunnels right now, but they might not even need it, to be completely honest, with the way that they're pushing right now. If NKL can't just shut down this offensive in itself, he's going to push out finding one, but now he's going to go up against Guardian peeking out. He's going to miss his shot, and NKL turns it right back on its feet once again. Dreamer low too, but he still managed to do some impact, and there's another frag coming out from NKL. He finds his 3rd kill. The 4th one's going to have to come out from CsGo if he pushes against it. CsGo was the one that fell back to pick up the bomb, but now he's alone when his teammates just a moment ago, there was 3 of them before. Now he's the last one. And it's going to be a 4 versus 2 potential, but CsGo's picking up 1. Now Dreamer has to find this frag. No utility. There might be some in front of him, but is it worth it to run in there? Now we can see that he's retreated back down. He's going to go for the B plant instead. He's running out of time. He doesn't want to screw around with Dreamer back over here in the bathroom. He's just going to chase him away. And now rolling back down here. Dreamer's got a smoke at least to work with here that he's scavenged from the floor. But as he pushes back in, CsGo should have been able to hear this. And it's definitely going to know that things are rolling back into him now that we see that flash being popped out. Not sure if that was his or not, but See that smoke coming in? He thinks he's going to be backed up by Monster. This is not the case. And Seized again as a killer angle. Dreamer's not going to see this at all. And Seized saves his team from disaster there. Shuts out Dreamer again with a really great angle hold. And gives Navi the tie round here. To keep things very, very close here between E-Frag and Navi. But that was almost a 2 versus 4. And again, at the end of the day, you still can't call it a really good round from Navi because they lose so many players. Their money's still going to be very, very low because of this one, despite the rebuy that comes out now. And Edward's back down to a UMP. Whereas the rest of E-Frag, technically speaking, again, they're in a pretty bad spot here too because of their losses. But they're still going to be able to continue to force. And we've seen them force up victories in the past on this CT side. So I would not count them out of this one just as of yet. Now Navi taking things a lot slower this time because of that aggressive flirt that absolutely destroyed them in the previous round. They're going to have to be very, very careful of. Guardian pushing his way in. They've actually got, you can see it right now from the current POV on Guardian, they've got 2 stacks built up. NKL's with spyleadeR, I think trying to peek back over here in the water. So they're going to move out. Oh no! Guardian even sees one of them too, but doesn't actually react to it quickly enough. So he's going to be able to destack that. And they notice the play that's happening. And then you've got Victor boosted up here, I think with, who is he with? He's with Bubble right now, so Victor and Bubble again. Normally the players that are playing towards semi, but now going to put themselves in this position. And Victor might have a chance to catch something in a second if he sees it. Players that are moving back over here from Connector right now, trying to line up the shots, and he gets them both. They just line right up for him. So Zeus and Guardian are both going to falter now. That leaves it into a 3-on-5 with E-Frag having a heavy advantage. They'll destack that play, move back onto the site, and again, they'll probably just take up their usual position. spyleadeR actually is going to be the one holding semi for now. And they'll still stick around here. Bubble, he can see that shadow, but still not going to be able to pick up the kill. flamie takes him down. Seized, finding a second one to eliminate Victor. And now Navi is stricken right back, but spyleadeR, if he keeps himself quiet enough, he can pick up one. Trying to line it up there, shits on flamie. And now Seized as well. He's going to be flanked there, so that'll be a great retake from E-Frag. Losing a little bit of the control there as those players on the stack back over there by Bathrooms get a little over-aggressive, but it buys the time that these guys need in order to find their flank, and then just shuts down Navi NA without losing anybody else. So again, this saves E-Frag from the brink of having to go for a save, which is something that they do not like doing at all, from the sort of things that we've been seeing from them, not just in this set, but our previous one too. And Navi, although they will force up to some degree here, they were, as you can see, this is a very late buy from Navi. They were kind of conflicted on this in terms of how they wanted to play this out. So they'll decide to force it because Guardian can still get an op into his hand. So they're hoping he can impact in a very big way. But they really haven't been seeing him be the big frag leader like he has been in some of these past games over the last like month or so now from Navi. It's been some of the other guys that, at least in this map, are sort of leading the charge, mainly Seized and flamie right now, with Zeus staying a little bit further behind. Guardian and Edward actually the lowest fraggers, down at 3 and 2 respectively. So they're actually the ones falling behind a little bit. You could argue that this is to some degree because of the fact that Guardian has really not been able to get this op into his hands that often, but he's been able to pull off plays with a rifle before too, so I wouldn't really agree with that sentiment so much. As Navi, thankfully, with the hands of Seized, he's going to be able to pick up this first kill over here onto spyleadeR and take him down. With that eliminating him, now Seized is going to try to press his way over here through a monster once again. Victor getting himself into a duel with Edward here. As Victor goes for a very aggressive peek. Messy on the spray, but he ends up winning it in terms of damage that's traded back and forth. He survives it with 46, and Edward just barely makes it out of that one alive. He's actually pretty lucky that Victor doesn't re-peek it again, as that could have killed Edward if he had taken the duel. So he's just going to be, well, by really bleeding out here right now, so he's not going to be looking so good. And now these players will push their way in. Dreamer with a nice tap there, finishing off Seized. Now they're going to try to push in, trying to line up more, but they haven't pushed in enough yet. He's going to find the second one over here into Zeus. And now it's just Guardian, along with flamie, trying to find their way in here. Edward is going to look for a very aggressive flank. It's really the only option he has is to catch these players off guard, but Bubble's up in heaven now too, shutting out flamie. Guardian's moved away from this one. Edward, he's waiting actually for these players to double back and go back up towards the A site, but they know they're not going to be pushing in. Guardian finding another kill here. Actually amazing that he picks that one up, falling away from that one. NKL did chase him, so he's going to pick up this one, but I don't think Edward's actually going to meet anything else, as everybody else from E-Frag just sticks in that B-bomb site. It would not be running out of time. There's really not going to be anything that E-Frag can do to chase those players down anyway, so they'll end up dropping this one once again. And for Edward and Guardian, they're not going to have any money at all. And the rest of their teammates will agree with that sentiment and not go for really any sort of upgrades. Actually, I'm wrong in that. Both flamie and Seized, along with Zeus too. Again, a very late decision being made here by Navi. They do go for their own upgrades. Tech 9 armors on both Seized and Zeus, and flamie goes for the Deagle. And again, not the best start to the round for Navi, as Guardian's going to get hit head-on by a nade. He doesn't have any armor, which is another important key factor here too to keep in mind. He doesn't have any armor, so that nade's going to hit him head-on, and it brings him down to 16 HP. Zeus caught with a nade in his hand as Victor goes to the push to get some revenge for his fallen teammate spyleadeR. And now the hold is just that much stronger here from E-Frag because of this one. Victor picking up a second kill. Finally, Guardian with a nice response. But how much further can the members of Navi push this? As they're still looking very weak. They've upgraded their players to rifles, so the biggest ones in this round are going to have to be mainly flamie and Edward. But NKL, Bubble, and Dreamer all still at full HP. Haven't even really been tested that much either. The B side is actually probably looking like the best target because it's very weak. You've already got a decent amount of players in position to push into it, and then Dreamer's utility is non-existent. Bubble and NKL are the ones with it, and they have that semi setup that they've been using a whole lot in this half to try and hold off a push coming from either of these angles. But they're gonna have to rotate down very quickly, as basically Navi are just gonna walk into this site. There's nothing that Dreamer can do to hold this out. And this is a big mistake right now being made by E-Frag, expecting it to come towards the A site, not even really preemptively moving one player down as a floater. They're just keeping everybody in their standard positions, and Edward just moves up. Dreamer doesn't even notice him, doesn't even see the head. So as he creeps back up there, that's going to be the only defender in this B side's gone, and they're given all the time they need to get into post plants. So it's still going to be a retake that could still go by the way of E-Frag, but they have to rely on this utility to use it, and so far, not doing so good with their pickups. But NKL finds Guardian, finishing him off, but then flamie and Edward bounce right back and pick up those 2 other kills that are needed to close it out. They recover Guardian's op as well, so he's still going to have that going into this round. Natus Vincere continue to keep this game very, very close. E-Frag will choose to go for a rebound here once again. 3 rifles and 2 CZs coming into the picture. 4 smokes, so again, they've got, for the most part, the things they need to hold this off. And with Navi playing a little bit more of a passive T-sided setup, I don't really think missing things like mollies and whatnot is really going to be hurting E-Frag as much. Because E-Frag and Natus Vincere are playing really 2 opposite sides of a coin when it comes to their T-side. Natus Vincere are very methodical about it. They're not really one to take risks if they don't need to or if they're not at a force. So with this, E-Frag, with their aggressive style, it actually catches Navi off guard quite a bit. And we can see an example of that right there as Bubble pushed into Navi once again, was able to pick up a first kill. Edward's going to be looking for a response, and again, you can see he's very slowly, very patiently waiting for this one because they still haven't, ignore that, apologies, still have not fully explored what's going down back over here by the bathroom. So you can see he's checking around that corner, waiting to see if there's going to be anybody waiting there. Probably going to check just on the other side of that little outcrow there too, and see if there's anybody waiting for him. Meanwhile, they're giving the members of E-Frag all the time they need to investigate. Jumping up and down, you can see spyleadeR waiting for this one. Just around the corner too, Bubble. The hit's going to be big if he peeks out at the correct time. Both Zeus, Seized, and Guardian are going to be right in his face. Guardian finding that first one. They check it, though, and they're going to be able to see him. So Guardian and Zeus picking up those first 3 kills now as they find their way into the site. And for NKL and Dreamer, there's nothing that can be done. This round's already over. It's going to go by the way of Navi, and these final 2 rifles need to be scavenged into the next round. Navi again make their way into there, unfortunately for E-Frag. And this is what's really odd about this one too, because it's almost for the problems that for when we do see obviously Navi winning rounds, the problems that we're seeing from E-Frag are almost like the exact opposite, in the place that they're just misplacing their resources a little bit. They were really good at this on Dust, but now we're starting to see a couple of mistakes made with this back over here on overpass now too, is they do put both of the players down on the B side, sort of again taking a lot of risks with their positioning in hopes that they're going to pay off well for them. And to some degree they did this on Dust, but they were a lot safer with it previously. When they did take risks, obviously it went their way, so anyone can really say, oh, it was a lot better on Dust. But there was a lot more safe play coming out from E-Frag on Dust too as well, whereas this time they're taking a lot more risks with putting the heavier assets sort of in the same position to make it more impactful, and it's just not playing out for them, and they're really left with no other choice but to save, like we can see right now. So, just started off here, Edward's going to get spotted by Dreamer as they get into a little bit of a duel there, and Dreamer goes to the triple tap, finishing off Edward with it, so it takes him down. There's not really anything else being played out back over there as these members move in super aggressively. I'm actually very surprised Zeus is going against this, but it's going to work out. Finds a 2-trade, finishing off Bubble and Victor, and he's probably going to molly that off for safety, as he's down at 3 HP, and Kale might just push right through that, but Zeus has got to run, might catch him as he tries to run the corner, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to grab him in time. There is still a player behind these guys, though, and this is what's going to be dangerous, because now Dreamer finding Seized. Zeus did realize he was being followed, but it doesn't even matter, because he only has that 3 HP. Now they pinch them. flamie able to hold Monster for now, but he's evenly traded, and now spyleadeR moving in, just going to finish off Guardian, and that's a great pinch from E-Frag to strike right back, and again, maintain their lead just before, oh, crap, and maintain their lead just before they're about to lose it. Alright, I crashed. Give me a second. Nothing I can do about that, guys. I do apologize. Let me get back into the game really quickly. And I will fix this, assuming our relays work quickly. Actually, our relay might have crashed. Uh-oh. This isn't good. Let me try the other one. We have two. Does this one work? Alright, this one works. Oh, come on, console, come back. Execute the config. There we go. Hide the consoles, people can't see it. It is another buy round. Let's get back into it quickly. Oh, come on! Not this bug, no! Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, guys. This is the bug with OBS right now. I'm trying to fix it as fast as I can. But I have to hide the IP as well, because you guys can't see that. Oh. Come on. Okay. And okay, we're back in. Hold on. Alright. Sorry. Alright. No! There we go. Alright. Welcome back. Navi just won the other round. It's back up at 7-7. I do apologize once again for missing the action that... Oh, are you for real? Guys, give me a moment. Let me try and fix this and make sure it's fixed for real. Alright, let's hope it's fixed itself this time. Unfortunately, guys, once again, I do apologize for that. There's not a whole lot I can do. That's a bug with OBS and the CsGo client not liking each other. I've not yet found a fix, but if anybody knows the bug that I am talking about, please feel free to message me on Twitter about it and let me know how I can stop that from happening. It actually hasn't happened in a while. That was the first time in a couple weeks that happened, but there's not a whole lot I can do about that. So once again, I do apologize, but as we go back into this round, Navi currently leading it, but as we can see here, the eco from E-Frag might actually end up going by the way of Navi. As Navi now down to just Zeus, and he's going to try to 1 versus 2 this, but he's holding a tight angle, trying to make this happen, but they're going to push up against him, and again, E-Frag, they grab the upset round there, and they're actually going to be able to end this half in their favor, and please don't crash, as they'll hold an 8-7 advantage here now. As for Navi, they're going to have a little bit more work to do on that CT side, but again, when you consider the factors that this map is actually pretty heavily CT-sided, the fact that E-Frag ended with only 1 advantage in their favor, 1 round I should say, in their favor, is not going to be the worst situation in the world. And hey, we made it through the round without crashing, so maybe it's fixed now. Hopefully. We'll see though. It tends to be pretty random factors that cause it to happen in the first place. So we jump over again, switching sides here. For anybody that is just joining us once again, this is E-Frag versus Navi here at the StarLeadeR StarSeries Season 14. Guardian gonna get dropped first here as he tries to get ultra aggressive, but running into a whole army of the members of E-Frag here. Unfortunately, not gonna be in his initial game plan, so he's shut down. Again, getting a little bit of info for it, but with it happening so far back, you really can't use that all that much, so it's not really gonna be useful. Zeus, I should note as an interesting point here, has gone for the dually buy-up. We've been seeing that a little bit more. It's not really super common, but still we've been seeing that being brought up a little bit more here in some of those crazy situations where, again, they get the smokes and you just have these crazy trades going back and forth. It could actually be a fairly useful weapon to sort of just throw into the mix because of how many rounds it has in it. It can actually have quite a bit of an impact there, especially if the members of E-Frag just rolling in this big push. But there's been trades going back and forth both ways, and it's left even into a 3 versus 3 right now. Seas is going to spot the play coming back in over here towards the A site, but he's got to be very, very careful with that as he picks up a kill. Thankfully able to roll back once again, but now we can see more of the rotation coming in. There's a bomb now going to get planted onto the site, but they're still holding a disadvantaged scenario, and C's going to roll in. He's got Bubble very, very low, trying to finish him back off, but no, Bubble picking up the kill. Edward finding a trade. spyleadeR now trying to finish him off, and he does it! 2 shots back to back. Edward and Zeus both fall down, and E-Frag now again picking up an additional point. And they're going to take back this lead. They're going to hold on to the lead, I should say, and be able to grow it even more so from this point forward here. Immediately going for the 4 rifle upgrades. Bubble, the only player that goes for an SMG. He's going to go for a Mac-10. And for the rest of Navi, just going to go for the usual force-ups here. flamie and Guardian take it back a little bit, just investing on the Deagle. And for flamie, an HE grenade. The rest of them, though, they definitely want revenge for this one, as they cannot get themselves behind. Keep in mind, they're down 1-0 at this point. So if E-Frag steal this map choice away from them, that's it. They're going to lose this one. And this could potentially toss them out of the LAN finals as well and send E-Frag to it instead. I don't exactly know how that's working out. I need to take a look at the bracket one more time, but I think there's going to be 2 more matches tomorrow that decide that, and it really could go either way at this point. It's between a couple more teams. It's going to be very, very close indeed. So Dreamer again finding another kill over here so far. Navi not really able to make a whole lot of progress in this round. Zeus picking up at least 1, and flamie trying to do some work with the Deagle, but just not happening. Now it's on Guardian, landing a shot in the bubble. Not going to be to the head though, so won't be finishing him off. Only bringing him down to about 30 HP. He pushes out though, gets super aggressive about it, and finishing off Bubble. Has that Deagle to work with here too, and good movement, getting himself back behind the boxes here. But now the plant comes in, and he's just trying to get some style points at this point. Now moving in, looking to see if he can find a Deagle shot, but not going to be happening. Victor will take him down, and E-Frag again will hold on to their advantage for now, which is going to be up to +3 rounds. And as for E-Frag again, the ones that actually do end up going down, interestingly enough, includes the player that had the Mac-10, so he's going to go for the rebuy on it, because this round should be even easier. And Dreamer, what's he going to grab? Maybe he's been tossed something. No, just using a USP, it seems, this round, unless the UI is bugged. So that's interesting. It actually makes sense, though, again, when you consider the facts, because if he goes down, it's not the worst story in the world. He's still going to be working a 5-on-4, and 4 to 5 of those players are going to have much, much better guns than anything on Navi. So even if he does end up going down due to over-aggression or whatever, he's not going to give Navi an upgrade at all. And if someone on his team ends up going down, he can just pick that gun up, and then they don't actually end up losing anything at the end of it. It's a very smart play, and it's not the first time I've seen it there. So E-Frag, though, basically just going to wipe the floor with everybody here on Navi this time around. Not really any damage at all. I think total of maybe like 30 to 40 damage at max going on to the members of Navi in that entire round. Now they get the upgrades going. Guardian, of course, took his buys a little bit lighter, so he is able to get the op armor buy on the first gun round. Excuse me, and the rest of these players as well will immediately upgrade to their M4s. Meanwhile, E-Frag, everything they could ever want is in their pockets right now. They're moving 4 players back over here to Playground. Guardian trying to get aggressive against it, but gonna miss his first connection, so has to fall back away from this one. Thankfully, nobody was playing it aggressively towards the lower park, so he's not going to be found out, but as he peeks, he over-peeks it, and again, misses another connection there. Not only this, but Dreamer is going to be responsible for picking up the first kill of the round over here on towards flamie. So not the best start here in this round, in this half overall for Navi, as they're now falling behind in this gun round to a very large degree, giving E-Frag all the room in the world they need to either go directly for this A push or even work themselves down into connector to go for B. Navi are counting on this being an A push. As we can see, 3 players positioning themselves towards it, and Guardian is taking wild shots right now down A long. They don't know the other 2 are here as of yet, and again, Zeus holding a forward position in the actual event that does end up happening. But it doesn't look like that'll be the case. E-Frag very heavily committed towards moving into it now. The flashes and smoke start to come in. C's holding off the first one, and the members of the T side do end up getting flash, but spyleadeR is there for a trade. Edward finding a second kill now for the CTs, and he peeks out from semi, gets himself behind the safety point after he picks up Dreamer, and now Zeus on the flank, moving in, catching out Bubble. This kill has been this push has been absolutely destroyed with that great hold that comes out from Navi, and E-Frag again, unfortunately, make the wrong choice and decided to push forward against exactly what Navi had set up for them, and then as well, as you saw below, that gave Zeus the time he needed to wrap back around, gets himself back up on top, and just completely flanks the members of E-Frag, something that, again, they just weren't expecting to have happen against them. Nobody was covering for a flank from connector. Big mistake by E-Frag. They do have another buy coming up for them, but now this round will strengthen the buy from Navi. You can already see a potential battle sort of brewing back over here inside of connector. It'll be the number 8 man, which is flamie, going up against possibly up to 2 players down over here in the lower tunnels. He is trying to investigate things back over here in upper 2, but obviously won't be finding anything in NKL, and he hit by Zeus, but Victor able to pick up a trade onto this one. Bubble holding just outside of Monster 2. As again, there is that battle for connector. Victor's been brought down to 11 HP, and another big factor is they actually find the bomb down here. And with us still having, I think it's flamie still in this position inside connector and holding it strongly by picking up 2 kills, they know right now that it's going to be down at the B site and coming in nowhere else. The only way they could have fallen away from that was going back towards T-spawn, but they keep finding kills in this area. They know for a fact that that does not happen. Victor's the only one left. He's got 11 HP. There's even a hole in the door. If flamie wanted to toss that flash at it, to be very accurate with it, but he could definitely do it. That'll completely blind Victor, and he's a dead man as soon as he finds him outside of there. So basically just waiting for it at this point. No real need to take any excessive risks here from the side of Navi. They're still pretty far behind. And again, they want to make sure they can keep as many people up as possible, try and build up an economy as quickly as possible because of how aggressively E-Frag tend to play their own C side here. If they can crush them and make sure their own build is strong, they're not going to have any trouble at all putting down E-Frag for the rest of this half. But the first 2 gun rounds here are going to go by the way of Navi, and this is a good start to the turnaround here. They're still a couple more points away from it, but with E-Frag again now starting their sort of force chain, this is where it can get a little bit easier for Navi, as we are going to see the 3 Galil, 1 CZ, and 1 AK investment coming out from E-Frag this time. Utility is still okay, but after this one, if they do go back to their sort of old habits that we were seeing back in the Titan game, yes, they'll have the rifles for every round, but now they're giving Navi all this utility, now they're giving Navi all this firepower. It's going to be that much harder to make progress with just Galils and AKs and basically couple flashes at the most to make the progress here to get themselves forward, especially on as big of a map as overpass here. I don't really expect you to get into the sites like A that easily without any utility at all, which is going to be a big problem for these guys. But Guardian, so far the one-man army back over here, ends up pop flashing himself, so we can't take down Bubble just as of yet. But he's going to be looking to move out against him here in just a second as Bubble camps in that smoke, gets to the peak. But again now Guardian finding another kill, completely shutting down this long A push completely on its own. And then you've got NKL trying to get up against it here too, trying to find the shots, but now flamie's here too. So flamie going to steal away, take some of the fun, and Zeus picks up the final kill here from the side of Navi as they now pick up 1 more point. And we do see the tie coming out here from E-Frag. I've had a couple tech pauses tonight, but this one could be tactical. And they have just confirmed it in the chat. This is going to be a tac pause, as it is needed in my eyes too, because they need to figure out exactly how they're going to proceed with this. They're at that turning point now to where they could continue on. They're really not going to have any choice here, despite how aggressively they like to play that T side. With the biggest stack player at 2,900, there's no way they're going to be able to confidently go for a force up here, which would not be wise in my eyes. So probably going to be wanting to sit back, take this one as easily as possible, let Navi tie it, and then because you're already on a 3-round losing bonus, you'll get the 4th after this one. You should have plenty of money to get a really big buy there to try and stop it before they take the advantage. So they've unpaused it now, and it looks like that's going to be the plan they go ahead with. A couple upgrades here and there. Again, they'll get a pretty big losing bonus, so they can still afford to do these couple Tech 9 upgrades that we're seeing coming onto NKL right now. But this round is all going to be about finding frags. If they win it, that's great, because that's going to be a complete upset. But the big key here is trying to take down 3+ players and trying to make as much economical impact as possible, maybe even getting that plant too for some extra cash, which is going to be the big thing that matters here too, that they struggled against with Titan. They move themselves in, and again, just going for a direct push now. spyleadeR's going to watch out for flanks back down inside of connector here and just rush in and try to actually catch some of these guys off guard, but as the actual play begins here a little bit, Guardian sees and flamie. Guardian again shutting these guys out left and right. No progress made at all. The entire A pushing force has died, but spyleadeR has yet to have been discovered. As he flanks his way in, you can see that now Edward working his way back down. He's going to be watching out for this player to move in against him. I doubt. We'll see in a second. It's going to be really tough. If he can get past Edward, maybe something, but he's going to be walking right into Edward's area here in a second. So, as he comes outside, and yeah, he's going to be a dead man. As I don't think he was expecting to be found out there. But Edward realized what was going on. He's able to find him. And then Navi shut down that round without taking any losses at all, which is sort of exactly what E-Frag didn't want to have happen by going for a save there, but now again, this is where we get to see them having, hopefully, a lot better of a round here because of the fact that they get the full AKs, not an op necessarily coming onto Bubble or one of the other players from E-Frag, but they've got a lot of utility coming up behind this too, which was something that they were missing in a lot of their other games. But that doesn't matter for Guardian, as he's going to pick up the first 2 kills here. Again, lower tunnels is not the best place in the world for E-Frag to be pushing. because Guardian is just going to be dominating that this entire game so far. Picks up the first 2 kills, and Zeus unleashing hell onto these 2 players. He's going to move out, almost finding the trade on the Zeus, but not going to be happening, as now flamie comes into support as well. Navi go full out aggressive, and are going to completely shut down E-Frag once again. Bubble's the last one alive, trying to work for something here. Again, switches up to save mode here to try to get some damage out of these players. Not really going to be able to fully save and survive towards the end of the round, we don't expect, but if he can get a couple kills, that's going to be good enough for him now, as Navi are going to have the lead, but they are not safe as of yet here. They found something that's working for them. Now it's E-Frag's turn to respond to this. Like a game of chess, they have to figure out how to work this against their opponent's strategy to come back against them. Bubble, very good job taking down Guardian. That could be an op necessarily here now too that he could pick up if he could somehow make it towards the end of the round. There's still 40 seconds left, and he hasn't realized here that number 7, C's, is going to be pushing out against him in a second. And Edward will indeed now close the gap, finish him off. And now Navi take the lead back away from the members of E-Frag, bringing it up to 12 to 11. E-Frag do have enough money left in their coffers to go for another buy here, and we'll see that coming out into play now. 1 Galil this time sitting onto NKL, but this will be another last chance for them before they have to go for a save again. That would bring Navi up to maybe 14 points if they don't pick this one up. So it's going to be a really tough situation now getting themselves back into this game. And the biggest thing that they now have to work against is that op from Guardian, because you can see too, this is another round where Guardian is again playing it from a different position. Very, very mobile with that op, moving all over the map. 2 rounds ago, played it back over towards A long. Last round, went inside of Connector. This time he's hanging out in Bathroom, and all this time he has support from his teammates too. They are making sure that they shepherd him throughout the map so that he can have as much impact as possible. And this strategy has been working brilliantly for Navi, yet to have been found a response to by the members of E-Frag. But initially here, Navi actually pull away from their current spots. They pull back a little bit more, and they do let Guardian go off on his own towards A long once again. This gives E-Frag partial control of Bathrooms. They're going to know this is the case, though, so Guardian should be able to adjust his position accordingly as he waits for the push to come outside of either the bathroom connector or just into the site itself. But now he loses flamie. This is trouble, actually, for him. But thankfully, there's not actually any pressure itself going back over towards A long just as of yet, so he's still, to some degree, in a safe position. Trying to find that first shot, but he's going to miss, but spyleadeR, somewhat foolishly, just goes for a direct plant. Guardian's going to see that coming from a mile away, so he picks him up. A Dreamer catching the response headshot. That's going to finish off Guardian. Now they've got a safe area in which to plant, but they're being lurked around by C's once again, just trying to finish him off. That smoke's going away. He's going to have 2 angles to work against. No way the Bubble's going to survive this one. The big thing is that they have the plant going down, and they have a man advantage too. So Navi are the ones that now need to get aggressive and find these 2 final players here. C's is pushing out. He's completely blinded. That flash is perfect. Dreamer finishes off one, and Victor catches the other, and E-Frag again keep themselves alive, keep themselves in this game. And this is going to bring their economy back up to a good point for Navi. They built up a lot, though, so it's going to be trouble working back against this here. And now, again, they found the strat that works. It was a bit of a mistake in my eyes that round against Navi, or it was a bit of a mistake from Navi that round, I should say, because Guardian and flamie had been working together as a 2-man team in the previous 2 rounds that they had won. Or the previous couple rounds, I should say, that they had won. Now they split themselves up. Guardian's wedged away, and he's sort of left out in the open there. There's not a lot of support coming out from him, so when he gets rushed, there's not a whole lot of things that flamie, in that case, can do. If Guardian was playing from that position, I don't expect that rush to have been successful from E-Frag, and they might have not even gotten the plant to begin with. It's a good attempt at a retake from Navi, but too much damage had been done towards the end of the round, and then E-Frag was able to hold the bathrooms in order to close out that round. So E-Frag, again, making a lot of progress very early on to get themselves inside of bathrooms, but this is just going to be to sell the fake. Right now they've got the bomb and a supporter, which is going to be NKL, potentially lining up to work their way inside of Monster to try and find a B push here. And Guardian, now down at B, will be the one to resist this. Watching out exactly for a Monster push, but, pardon me, I think he's being called away to support the A site, so they may leave B completely wide open here. Only just Zeus to defend this, but look at the angle Zeus has. He could flank these guys. flamie and Bubble getting themselves into that battle back up on A. That is going to draw the attention of Guardian away from this one, since Bubble was able to find a response kill to it, and the smokes are blocking off a lot of the other view angles here. But as spyleadeR drops down, Zeus not expecting him. He's going to do a lot of damage to bring him down to 16 HP, but this does not stop the plant. Guardian's in pit. He's trapped. He has no support coming in right now. C's is going to get himself out towards CT main here, so he is able to keep Guardian alive for a little bit longer, but as he presses forward, Guardian can't see anything. Guardian has no view angles to what's going on back over there underneath Canals. Trying to sneak around it, looking for the shots, but he's going to be seen first by NKL. That takes out his feet, finishes him off. The T's are holding so strong right now. There's Bubble with another one back by construction, and now it's just on C's. He has to fall back. He has to go for the save call, and it's going to be E-Frag again that went out the round here. The mind game being played by these players. And Navi is going to start to fall behind here once again as E-Frag pick up their advantage here. C's is able to keep himself alive, so they keep one more rifle in play. And with the lower amount of money on flamie, we should be seeing at least one more rebuy. This will include the rebuy of the op on Guardian. But after this, they'll be back in the dumps once again here. Actually, maybe we could see one more force, but more than likely, after this one. If they play it as passively as they have been, they might save it. It depends on if they want to play this for a tie and take it into OT, or if they just want to play it for an outright victory. We'll basically wait until the next round to see that choice being made. But this is a very dangerous point, a very crucial round really for both teams, because again now, E-Frag trying to stack up their own money here. They'll be reset. Both teams facing a reset of their economies, and both teams have been clashing strategies back and forth now for so many rounds. So many things have been working for both of these teams, but then have been countered out in the next 1 to 2 rounds that nobody's been able to keep a consistent strategy here throughout this entire game, and these teams have been forced to rapidly adapt. This is putting a lot of pressure on the IGLs to constantly keep up with the strats, and as well on the CTs in general to keep up with the calls, because things are so different in every single round. And we can see evidence of that once again from E-Frag. Previous 2 rounds, it looked like it looked like initially it was going to be a full push coming out towards A, but this time it's changed once again here. And Edward, what the hell are you doing? Edward just pushes out Monster, doesn't even react to NKL at all, sees him there, but for whatever reason doesn't spot it. NKL is able to pick up that first kill there, shutting him down. So already losing 1 player. He does possibly spot again that there is the bomb carrier sitting back out here. And obviously this is looking like this is the possibility now. He's left Guardian as the only defender back up on the A site. He can rotate down to Heaven to support this one, and Zeus picking up a kill for the first time here too. Finding 2 actually, and a 3rd. Finally NKL is going to drop C's, and he finds Zeus too. NKL going absolutely crazy in this round, almost with the ace. And he's going to get a good chance to find it because Guardian's going to be pushing out against him. 18 seconds left though, so NKL just have to go for this plan, and this is giving Guardian a lot of room. Take a look right now. spyleadeR, he's back over here in pit. He's not even going to see it, but Guardian misses such a close range shot. Connects on the second one though, finishing off NKL just as he falls back. And now spyleadeR, he's going to look for a way back in. Trying to toss him. Looks like a flash over here to try and throw him off guard. There's the pop flash now. Is it going to blind Guardian? Not at all. And he's traded out for a rifle at this point. But so much time is being wasted. spyleadeR is trying to bait it out. But no! Guardian gets the clutch. Rolls back in. Finishes off the 1v2. And Navi again strike right back. And they're going to tie this up at 13 points. 13 rounds. Apologies. And what a close one this is going to be here. Now Navi again have to go up against at least 1 more buy coming out from E-Frag. Still keeping enough money in the picture here for these guys to keep a confident buy. Should it be full utility buy up here as well. And E-Frag, such a successful start, but a big mistake on splitting up those final 2 players there. One goes inside of water, thinking there's going to be a push from Connector. Even so, that's Guardian you have to go up against in a 1 versus 1. How many times has he been successful in his 1 versus 1 scenarios tonight? That's not the smartest choice. They should have stuck together as a 2-man team and tried to shut it down, but now Guardian again on the aggressive side of things, picking up a first kill, but he's out in the open, so spyleadeR is able to find a trade for this one. flamie picking up another one, but he too is traded back out there by Victor. That's going to finish off flamie, and things remain even into a 3-on-3. Navi, they've got to split up the defenses now. That's not too good for them, because now E-Frag can group up and make a 3-man push into one of these sites. And that's going to be a great push coming out there from C's too. Nice little tap there, finishes off Victor. Now the bomb goes down as well. So this one has been turned back on its heels 2 times in a row now. As C's finding that first kill there. I don't actually think he's fully realized that he's dropped the bomb though, as there's nobody covering. He didn't even notice it. He doesn't realize the bomb's on the ground, so now they've got back control of this one, as he doesn't move in to defend it. And now him and Dreamer, this is NKL we're talking about, gonna have to press their way onto that A site, but thankfully Zeus dispatches of Dreamer. C's is actually gonna check back out there once again. If he did see the bomb, obviously he's gonna realize it's gone, but in this whole time NKL just pushing over towards short A right now. Moving himself in, trying to find a way towards that site. It'll be on Zeus to defend it, but Zeus is rotating down once again. That decoy, not sure if it's spotted out NKL just as of yet, but you can see with the knife, he's trying to peek this once again just to get the info. There we go, he spotted him now. So this should be a nice closeout here. As you look, you can just see on the mini-map now, they're all getting closer and closer to NKL at this point, trying to pinch in on him. He's going to push in with a long A. Rotation's going to come back in there from Zeus. That's going to shut out NKL. And Navi again now, back with the lead, but just barely. And with the way E-Frag played things back on their last set, they're just over enough money to sort of rationalize the buy here. They do not want to play this in overtime. They want to win this map and end this set here. They still have a second map, they still have a third map, I should say, that they can still play things out on if things start to falter here. So, not even going to screw around, just force buying right now. Tech9's, Galil's, on Dreamer, Victor, Bubble, and NKL. spyleadeR is going to be the only player with an AK. And Navi getting themselves back into the picture as well in terms of trying to build up their own economy. Very, very close rounds, but E-Frag's finally starting to fall behind a little bit more once again. Might just be enough here for Navi to take the victory, assuming they don't get upset here on the force buy. Which would obviously really screw things up for Navi. Because again, you could just look at their own sort of stack up now. They might actually have to force by 2 in the next round, but C's picking up that first point. Pick up first kill, apologies. Bubble moving in looking for a second one, but spyleadeR is actually going to pick that one up. flamie picking up an additional kill here too from the side of Navi by eliminating spyleadeR. Now knowing that these players are going to be moving in from the bathroom angle. You can see Edward starting to move out a little bit here too, trying to watch out and see if there'll be a rotation coming out from Connector. They haven't seen it as of yet, and Dreamer trying to get himself into a battle. Getting tapped by his teammates a little bit there, I think, too, so they've got to be careful with these peaks, but an up shot going to bring Dreamer down now to 18 HP, and that's going to connect from Guardian inside of the bathroom. Almost takes him down, too. Looking for more, but now the smokes fade away, so he's going to be able to try and connect a little more. He almost actually hits Bubble through the wall, but Zeus is holding that off angle there, shuts down one of them, NKL moving in. He's going to be able to pick up the trade. Dreamer moving back out now, too, to try and see if he can find out on a Guardian, but Guardian peeking out. Not going to connect on that first one. He goes down, but the rotations have arrived, and the flank moving in from Edward here in just a second, too. flamie getting such good damage, then Edward just mops the floor with the final two players there. NKL and Dreamer both go down. Navi now up to match point here, and looks like they're going to be able to tie things up at 1-1. It will be the Force this time from E-Frag. Going for the 2 Tech 9s, P250 on Victor, and spyleadeR down to CZ. NKL now the only player with a rifle, and this is just going to be an all-in attempt here. Working their way in. Edward finding the first kill, seized. A second for him. More coming back out in terms of rotation because Navi got aggressive back over here with Short A. And oh, Guardian up in your face against spyleadeR there. Dreamer picking up at least 1 kill for the T's now as he finishes off Zeus. Just missing a second one as we do see Dreamer starting to fall back a little bit, but flamie finishes off Victor. And now Dreamer as well pushing in. He's going to be able to try and take down at least one player, finishing off Guardian. Now working a 1 versus 2 though. Getting tossed with pellets of nades getting thrown his way. 14 HP, an op, and a dream of a 1 versus 2 for him. But it's just not looking like it's possible here. As both of these players from Navi as well are sitting inside a pit. Very safe position. It's not like we could see Dreamer connect these on very long range duels. And there you have it. 1 shot from flamie ends the map. 16-30.